Stream is starting right now.
I mean, okay, I'll mute myself now. GMs of the TBL. We're back again with night 2 of the preseason, early season podcast here with Chris.
What's up, everybody? What do you think? What do you think there, Mr. Kamish?
I think it's time to look at the inferior conference.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at the conference that's going to have the runner-up in the TBL championship game.
Wow, that's some smack right there. That's some smack talk. Love it.
Let's start with the good division.
Which is?
The Jade division.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow, the good one. Wow.
I mean, I think that's pretty given. They've been the best division in baseball for the last, I don't know how many years.
Yeah,
long time.
Very competitive. More competitive than the Topaz.
Who's in first?
Tampa.
What's on second?
Denver. I'm looking at it right in front of me. So.
Yeah, I'm pulling up my game.
All right.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about Tampa. Let's talk about Cole and the Cannons. Finally made the postseason last year. Rebuild complete. Brought in the best player in baseball, although he didn't have the best player in baseball type of season in BJ Swart.
Yeah.
Let me get the timer going here too, so we don't go all night.
BJ Swart, the man, 4-time MVP.
What are your thoughts on the Cannons, Chris?
It's a great team. If I remember correctly, they choked out at the playoffs last year.
Did they? I mean,
yeah,
90
I think
team.
it was pretty. They choked at the end bad. Like, I think they had like a 3-game lead.
Oh, you mean they blew a series lead?
Yeah, they blew a series lead.
I think that happened to a couple teams.
It did, but it happened pretty. To Tampa, it was pretty rough, if I remember correctly.
Who were they beating? Was that Fort Collins in that series? I don't remember.
Might have been Fort Collins.
That's such a tiny, short memory.
It's difficult playoff stretch, but you know what? They picked up some pieces. Looks like they picked up Murrieta from Oklahoma City.
Yeah, the $57 million man. Now he's only the $30 million man.
Yeah.
$160 million over 5 years. It's a pretty gnarly contract, but he's only 27, so I don't hate it.
No,
dude doesn't really have an injury history.
He's been playing, so
Yep.
He helped Oklahoma City with their playoff run, so maybe he can help Tampa.
I see he has a nice ERA of 8 through the first month.
Yeah, I know. It's not a good start for. Not going great for him right now at the moment.
It could only get better.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say that.
So it's gonna go down. It should.
Yeah, he's had Corey Kimball for quite a few years. Originally a St. Louis piece, and was really good for St. Louis for a couple of years. Won Pitcher of the Year in 2008 for St. Louis. And he's still a pretty good piece at 31 years old. So that's a nice number 2 starter. So yeah, his rotation definitely isn't the worst. These guys are kind of fillers, but they've been on the team, for a couple of years now. So
yeah, I would say call it a typical, your average pitching staff. Got your top 2.
Yeah, it looks like.
And your 3 and 4 or 5 are, just filler guys. So do the best they can. You hope your offense does the best. So.
I think part of it looks like 2 of his starters from last year are on the DL. Pete Martin threw 115 innings last year. He's out for 4 months. Javier Chavez threw almost 200 innings last year for him, out for 7 months. And a couple other little injuries there. But
all on the pitching staff.
Yeah. The bullpen looks okay. I don't hate the bullpen. Not a ton of top-end talent, but Swener's off to a really nice start. And Swener's been around for a long time, 32, almost 33 years old. Kind of looking at him real quick. He's got almost 200 career saves, led the league in saves in 2010 and 2011 on 2 different teams. So he's had a nice career. But yeah, 26 strikeouts and 2 walks early on, just through April. So he's off to a nice start.
Yeah, it looks like his leadoff hitter's hitting really well too. 360 with 6 homers, 20 RBIs. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah, honestly, I love the top of his lineup. One of the
Yeah.
better lineups we've looked at, I think. Matt Reed at the top there is phenomenal. Had an MVP series, divisional championship MVP last year. Put up 5.5 WAR. I think he's off to maybe the hottest start right now. I think he leads the league in WAR right now through April. Nice second place. So yeah, he's playing really well. Jamal Barnett looks really talented. Like a super good defensive shortstop.
And
has
bars. It's got the bars to back it up. Yeah.
He put
Golden
up
Glove
7.2
and a
WAR
Silver
last
Slugger.
year. Yeah, he put up 7.2 WAR last year. He was the 1-2 overall pick in 2011, so he made the big league quickly after getting drafted. Probably should take a hint from him and bring up my guy Esparza.
Yeah, I told you you're stupid if you don't. So.
Yeah, BJ Swart's only 32, which is crazy to think about, and he's off to an incredibly fast start as well. 1.4 WAR already, on pace for 9 WAR. Maybe it just took a transition. He got passed around a couple of times over the last few years. For being the best hitter in baseball, he's now played in 4 teams. That's pretty fucking nuts. But at 32, he's at 75 career WAR already.
He's he won't last long on the Hall of Fame ballot when he gets there.
Definite first ballot Hall of Famer. Should be 100% unless someone's being a douchebag. Yeah, and Jim Zenger, not terrible. 27 years old, hitting cleanup. So yeah, his 1 through 4, I really like it. Matt Purdy, not really a big fan of. Oh, never mind, he's playing DH. I thought he had him in the outfield, but Matt Purdy off to a pretty bad start and not a great DH. And I feel like his second baseman's pretty underwhelming in terms of being like a quality fielder. Like he's not even really that good. I don't think he's good enough to be a second baseman. Greg Simmons. So definitely some holes in this lineup, but overall,
yeah, overall,
good team.
I think it's a good team, and I think it's going to be, it's playoff worthy for sure. They made it last year, so.
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about Colin Shevlin real quick, the former 1-1 overall in the 2007 draft. He's hitting number 8 in this lineup right now. But he's a two-way player. He's still developing. He's 50 of 80 right now as a hitter in terms of ratings. And then switching over to the pitching side, he's kind of a mid-range pitcher. He's 45 of 55. I think Cole mentioned that he has him on the rotation just to keep him happy. Like he's got him as a two-way player just to keep him happy, but he doesn't want him to actually pitch. So
yeah, I don't blame him. That's how I was reading something about injuries, and they say pitchers have a higher chance of getting injured because there's a percentage each play that they can get injured or something like that. And they're involved in every play. So
not just that. I think if you look, I mean, they throw their arms are in more action. They're throwing nonstop. Yeah. I think if you look at actually the balance of injuries in like the major leagues, like 70% are pitchers.
Yeah.
But
I think we're coming close to our deadline on this team right now. What do you think?
Yeah. Anybody else to talk about? I mean,
no, I was about to say I think about to do our final assessment, and
I mean, he's got a great system too. He was, he was mentioning he is the number 2 system just behind me. That could go back and forth. Really, he's got 10 top 80 prospects, I guess you could say.
Oh, jeez.
27 top 500 prospects. So he's set up for future success.
Yeah, he's got some guys that are close as well too.
Yeah, are you looking at Anton Arazia?
I am.
Yeah, that guy looks really good.
Yeah, I am.
4 pitches, really nice bars.
He should be getting up in. I feel he should be starting right now in the big leagues.
Maybe he might be waiting for that deadline day just to juice that year out of him, but I think we'll see him by the end of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, he's got some other guys in AAA here. He's got, Rick Wogsback, 105th prospect. Looks like he'll be pretty good. He's got another wicked good starter in Jared Dempsey, 55 of 75. So he's got some pitching depth just waiting for call-up day, or at least waiting for an opportunity here. I mean, it's riddled. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe guys in AAA that are all top 500 prospects. So not only is his team pretty good right now, but he's got a lot of guys just like ready to step up.
Nice.
Yep. Look out for Cole's team. Who's next?
Who do you think is next?
J in the
Denver Dynamite.
Two-time champion.
The most hated team in the league. And he wears it with a badge of honor, which I love.
Yeah, I do too. I really enjoyed his preseason.
I do too. Last year he had a good one, and this year he had a good one as well. So,
I didn't even see the one this year. I was too busy. I'll have to go back and look.
It's great. I love him. Funny.
Yeah, he's still got a great team. He got more hate this year because he eliminated a $50 million deficit down to $2 million before opening day. A couple of GMs bailed him out with some deals, but they did what's best for their franchise. Brought in some assets for some unspent cash. But yeah, he's got a killer payroll right now. He's at $260 million for a payroll.
Holy guacamole!
He's already locked in at 230 for next year, so he's going to have like little to no wiggle room to add anybody or re-sign some of these guys. Aaron Harrison's on the last year of his contract. Sean Hall's on the last year of his contract. Ricardo Anguiano's on the last year of his contract. So there'll be some decisions to make, and he's got 3 guys getting paid over $40 million next year. So I feel like this might be Denver's last shot.
Last hurrah with this team, you think?
3 championships in 4 years. Yeah. And he's definitely not the heavy favorite. I mean, he's still
oh
favorite,
yeah, he's still a favorite. This is a dangerous team,
but not to the extent he was maybe 2 years ago, where no one else thought they were going to win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did lose George Reed, so.
Yep. I mean, looking at position rankings, Horsfall's the number 3rd first baseman in the league. Mike Hyde's the number 3rd best second baseman. Antonio Reyes is the best center fielder in the league, although I don't think he's a center fielder personally. Yeah, he's already at -5 zone rating. He's got 55 range. I feel like he should be a corner outfielder, but I guess if you don't have anybody better to plug there, that's where you put him. He's more of a great bat, if anything, sitting 371. Led the league in doubles and triples last year. So, and that's so funny. I don't even feel like Antonio Reyes is one of those guys that's on my radar on this team compared to some of these other names. But he's a stud. His whole defensive outfield kind of sucks, to be honest. Or his outfield sucks defensively, I should say. I said that backwards. Victor Rivera, the greatest postseason player in TBL history, still on the team, 33 years young. About to be 34, actually, in a few weeks. But he's one of those guys. He's locked up for $40 million next year. He's probably not worth that anymore. But Jay front-loaded a bunch of contracts, and then we changed the rules on him. Unfortunately, but something that had to be addressed, I feel like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I expect him to be good again. Looking at the rotation, he's got a really good rotation. Cole Bowden, what happened here? I feel like Cole Bowden used to be better than this. Yeah, wow, Cole Bowden has nosedived ratings rise. This was the guy that was 60 to 70. And now he's a 45 overall, and he's only 27 years old. What happened to Cole Bowden?
What happened? It's a mystery.
Yep. So his rotation's not strong 1 through 5 like it used to be. He's still got a good top of the order. Anguiano, obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Daniel Jennings is good. I mean, Cole Bowden's a strange one. Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
And yeah, the last 2 are, just plug-in guys. So his bullpen's decent though. They're playing decent. I remember seeing in his video, he said, we're just gonna skip by his bullpen, but we'll take a look. And they're not doing terrible, in my opinion. I mean, there are a couple guys on here not doing the best. Looking at you,
Yeah, it's not
Raul Moya, but
it's not super deep, but I don't think anybody's bullpen is like
yeah,
bullpen's really hard to plug right now.
yes, it's not the. I don't know. I don't get the bullpens right now. Like 25, 24, I felt like I could get a good bullpen together, but in 25, I've noticed that the bullpen has kind of gotten weak.
Honestly, and just looking at the way too early statistics, team stat rankings, he's dead last in starters ERA in the Ice Conference, and he's fourth in bullpens. So the bullpen's been okay, but the starters have been a letdown. I mean, look at those ERAs: 7.4, 7, 8.6. So his offense is humming along as you would expect. The pitching is not as strong as it used to be.
He's just gonna outscore the other team. That's all he's gonna do.
Yep. I expect his system to be pretty empty. He does have a few prospects. I'll give him credit, actually. 12 top 500 prospects and a couple in the top 100, which is pretty shocking because, I mean, again, he's been shipping away draft picks like crazy to stay afloat these last 2 years. People need to pay a little more attention to the IAFA bidding at the end of the year. Back-to-back years, Jays picked up a top 75 prospect, Thomas Tapia and Paulo Corredora, both 80 ranked and both, again, top prospects in the league. So spend some money, bring in some good prospects for your system, make it a bidding war. I definitely take advantage of that. I've got some good ones.
I try, but I always forget.
I've got 2 top 50 guys from my international complex. So, yeah, anything else on the Dynamite?
No, I think it's just a great team. We're seeing what we usually see from Denver. Shenanigans is what everybody says, but I think it's all good. I think this is the last year you're going to see this team assembled like it is, unless people give them more money. And again, I'm game for it. Let them spend all this money.
I'm not totally against Jay this year. It looks like he's on a level playing field. So
he is on a level. Yeah, it's
like
not the same team.
I like to root against the favorites, but I won't root against you this year, Jay.
It's not the same team as the past 3 years. So
I miss rebuilding Jay when he was just trying to make the playoffs. All right, who's next?
Be New Orleans.
New Orleans, the Mudcats. Yeah, Ryan's team
defeated the Dynamite season last year in the playoffs.
He did. Yeah, he broke the streak, stopped the dynasty. As far as he could go, I don't think he won the next round, but
he did not. But he was our hero last year, I guess.
Yep. And he's been in the playoffs the last 3 years, both 88-win seasons. He missed the playoffs with an 84-win season, so the Ice Conference has been historically tougher to make the playoffs than the Fire Conference. I got in last year with 79 wins, so yeah.
You made it though. You made it. That's all that matters.
Ryan's been in the league now for, I want to say 5-6 years. So he's had mixed results, but he's definitely built a really strong team this year. He might be one of my favorites in this division. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's a good team. I think it's one of those teams where it's not like going to win the division, but he's going to be in the mix and can be that luck team. Did what I did in 2008.
I think he could win the division pretty easily.
I think so. I mean, he did pick up George Reed, so that's a big pickup. He stole a player from Denver. That's always good. And he's got the second best starters ERA in the big area in the Ice Conference. So his pitching is phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I mean, George Reed has 2 Pitcher of the Year awards, and he is still a 70 overall, even though he's 35 years old. Mike Shane's won Pitcher of the Year back-to-back years. He's like the new Andy Kerrigan.
He's got 4 total Pitcher of the Year awards. Yeah, and Chris Anderson ain't no slouch either. Yeah, tops.
Mike Shane's off to an even better start to his season than he was the last 2 years where he won Pitcher of the Year. So.
Yeah, his starting pitching is lights out right now.
Yep. Yeah, Chris Anderson's super, super good. This guy's 26. All these guys are like under 20s. George Reed's older, but these guys are young.
His
Chris
bullpen's.
Anderson doesn't have very good stuff. I'm surprised he's as good as he is. That movement, that control, I guess.
I was gonna say his bullpen's holding up, but I think they'd be getting tired with only 6 guys relieving.
Oh, so he got a pretty shallow. Yeah, he's kind of like San Antonio. They're brothers. San Antonio and New Orleans are brothers. Maybe this is a strategy by these guys to just not have many pitchers.
No way. That's interesting.
It is interesting. What's going on between these two GMs? They don't like having a deep pitching staff, but his bullpen's pitching really well. So
got a
unlike
got a lot of family in this
San
league.
Antonio, yeah. His defense has been really good too, and he does have. I mean, he's got some great offensive pieces. We haven't talked about the offense, but Greg Gross, kind of a vet at this point, but leading off a DH. Jamie Founts, 25 years old. This guy's a stud.
Yeah.
At second base. I'm just looking at Brian Lloyd. He's okay. Yeah. Chad Keys obviously has an MVP. That MVP season by Chad Keys, it was like a runaway MVP season. No one was even like close to as good as he was. I think he got traded mid-season that year too. Yeah, he went from Atlanta to New York in the middle of his MVP season.
Wow.
And then Jeremy Blackwell. This guy's been kind of injury prone, unfortunately. Couple serious injuries. He's got a sore wrist right now. Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything more serious. But he was the 1-1 pick in 2011, ahead of, we just looked at the 1-2 pick in that draft for Tampa. So both these guys are now division rivals, going number 1 and number 2 overall in that draft class. Who was it for Tampa? Jamal Barnett?
I want to say it was another shortstop.
Yeah, it was Jamal Barnett. So Barnett and Blackwell. The rivalry everybody's talking about in the TBL.
Ooh.
All right, any last thoughts on this team? I like the bullpen. We said that short.
Yeah, I like the bullpen, but I think it's kind of shallow. But, it might be their strategy, so.
Yeah, he's got another really deep system. He's got the number 4 prospect overall, Tim Archer, another shortstop. Maybe eventually actually gets plugged into like third base or something like that. 13th overall prospect. 7 guys in the top 100. A lot of them are mostly far away. Not anybody that's going to be like called up real soon. It looks like.
Got a bunch of kids in there.
Yep. I mean, he's got Tim Archer in AA, but he's only 35 overall, so I doubt we see him this year. So yeah, what we're looking at is what we're looking at. Maybe Bill Wentworth, this guy, number 179. Looks like a bullpen piece, left-hander, but he's got 2 really great pitches and really good stuff. So, all right.
Yeah, I think this is a playoff team as well. And I take my statement back. They probably can win the division.
I'd be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs.
I'd be shocked if they'd miss the playoffs as well.
Next on the list, Zach and the High Rollers. Zach has historically had a lot of success in the league. He's been here for a long time too. Just looking back, yeah, he's got 145 exports. So he's been here since almost the beginning. I don't think he's an OG. Maybe came in 2003, 2004. I forget what year. But he's made 6 playoff appearances. But over the last 5 years, he's only been there twice. So he's been kind of like up and down.
Yeah. Back in like 2008, 6 to like 8 is when he was really good, He's
been one of those GMs, though. He's not afraid to trade.
Yes.
So like when he's not in it, he'll trade his pieces away and try to rebuild the next year. He'll bring in assets. So he does a pretty good job with his franchise. So I think it's going to be kind of a similar situation. He's probably going to assess if he's in it or not by the deadline and then make some moves depending on his results.
Yeah.
What do you think of this team?
I haven't really looked at this. I don't really look at the Ice Conference that much. So this is usually my first look. So
yeah, who really cares about the Ice Conference, right?
I think he's got a decent starting, run of the mill average, but up above average pitching staff right now. and their shows respectively in the team stat rankings at number 6. And it looks like his bullpen is doing all right as well. He's got a couple of guys in there that ain't doing so hot. His closer and his setup aren't doing the best, but his mid relief guys are doing all right.
Yeah, I feel like his bullpen's pretty mid. Again, control's really a big deal in this version, and Joey Hansen has 3 amazing pitches at the back end, but 45
Yeah,
control
yeah,
can get you in trouble a little bit.
that's not
Um,
good.
yeah, I mean, looking at his starters, Jamie Phillips, this is a new name. I think he must have come up post deadline last year, 52 innings pitched in 2013. And he looks like he'll be pretty good. I don't really actually understand his ratings either. He's got 45 stuff. He's got great control. Look at these freaking pitches, though. Slider, curveball, sinker, splitter, and they're not good.
He's ground ball pitcher, so he gets them out on the
Why
ground.
Why is this guy 75 overall?
Because he's got 75 potential for control.
I guess.
That's why. He can put the ball where he wants it. Doesn't.
I mean, someone who looks better to me is Bobby Bradford. He's only a 65 overall. Again, showing ratings don't mean shit sometimes. And he's pitching really well right now. Also, basically a rookie. Came over in a trade with Denver in 2013. But yeah, I would say the pitching staff isn't very deep. I guess we should look at Matt Toms too, the number 5 starter. Pretty average, but maybe on the better side. He's a first-round pick back in 2011. A lot of these 2011 first-round picks here in the TBL here just a couple of years later.
College players, man. I'm telling you.
Looking at the bats, his 4 and 5 hitter are kind of the 4, 5, 6 are kind of the highlights of his lineup. He's got a great defensive catcher in Pat Perrone, maybe one of the best defensive catchers in the league. Not the best hitter, but I think again that's a position where you can give up the bat for.
Yeah, for that catcher blocking and framing and the arm even. Yeah, all day.
Might keep his pitching staff on point.
Yeah.
And of course, Pat Farrow, he's a league legend at this point, really talented, 31 years old. Matthew Taylor is his young, kind of sexy stud. This guy was a rookie last year. Again, not great contact, but good power and eye. So, yeah. Strikes out a lot, but has a pretty good ability to get hits when he makes contact.
Yeah, this is an interesting team. I think it can be good. I think it's a similar team to, I don't know.
I'm really mixed here. Like we said, the catcher's really good, but the rest of his defense is pretty subpar, to be honest. Like in terms of bars, I feel like, and his stats so far through April have kind of backed that up.
Yeah. I mean, I like his second and third baseman. Maybe his short, and I like his shortstop defensively. But I mean, yeah, they're just they're just defensive pieces, it's not. I don't hate defensive teams. I really don't. It's hard.
I was looking at like Louis Perez in left field. He's like barely an outfielder, so there's definitely some holes defensively.
Yeah.
45 range, like whatever. System wise, not terrible. 9 guys in the top 100. He's got the 11th and 12th overall prospect, the 25th overall prospect. He's got Sean Hall 2.0, which is kind of funny.
That's pretty funny. He's got the nickname shirt. That's a weird nickname.
I like this guy that's in AAA, Adam Siebold, the number 28 prospect. It looks like he's pretty much ready. Probably going to see him by the end of the year, if I had to guess. Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of nice pieces. So, again, we're looking at teams like Denver who've kind of been stringing along for a little while with a bunch of superstars. Tampa's pretty deep system-wise. Las Vegas is looking pretty deep system-wise. New Orleans is looking pretty deep system-wise. So, trouble on the horizon for the Dynamite, I think. That's what it all spells out.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about that farm system. You got to be able to keep it in. Keep it coming.
Well, yes and no. I mean, we've seen some championships won
Yeah.
by just mortgaging the farm. I mean, Denver has 2 championships. You can't take that from them.
Nope.
Alex in San Diego has a championship. Can't take it from him.
Cannot.
Phoenix got close. Hate to pick on Phoenix, but didn't work out for him. But yeah, I mean, we've seen Washington been really good these last few. He traded away his like 1-2-3-1-2 for Boy Perry.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's look at the next team.
Oh,
Getting to the. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, nothing. We're good.
Yeah.
Next team.
Next up,
Durham
our newest
Dragon.
team. Yeah, the Durham Dragons. Rebrand from the Atlanta Smashers Miss team. And I actually like the logo, and I like the color scheme, to be honest.
I do too.
I wonder if this will mean any difference in results. I don't know if we're there yet.
Well, we're at 500. They were leading.
They're at 500. Off to a good start, for sure.
They were leading the division in the first sim, so started off hot. So
yeah, let's take a look at the team. What do you think of this team?
Let's take a look here.
The lineup looks pretty underwhelming to me.
I was gonna say the same thing. I see a bunch of 100 numbers there, so those are never good to see.
I mean, ratings aren't everything, but the best rated player on this team is like the worst personality in the TBL.
Selfish.
Justin Wade.
Justin Wade.
His personality. Justin is short in effort and is no Einstein. Doesn't try hard or have smart.
Justin is lackadaisical and has trouble keeping up.
Oh, it's different for you. That's so funny. Mine literally says Justin is short on effort and is no Einstein, and I'm on an OSA. Aren't you too?
Yeah, I'm under commission count, so yeah.
Why does that happen? That's fascinating to me. Are you on? Oh no, you're on the right Justin. I was gonna say there's another Justin who's actually a really great personality on this team, Justin Scott.
He's keeping things together here.
Yep. The yin yangs of Justin on this team. So yeah, lineup is pretty underwhelming, and they're pretty bad in terms of most statistical categories. They do hit a lot of home runs so far here in April. Everybody in the lineup has multi-home runs for the bottom three. I mean, I don't think Jonathan Deering's playing second base. No, Jonathan Deering's playing shortstop. And this guy is not a shortstop in my opinion. Already -6 WAR, doesn't have very good efficiency or range. So that's a huge hole, I feel like. Center fielder. Yeah, it's not very good defense on this team. Not very good hitting. But
yeah,
what does the pitching staff look like?
I think they're overperforming definitely on the offensive side a little bit. Some players are, but not really.
Early on, yeah. I mean, this team's pretty much dead last in defense. 15th in efficiency, 16th in zone rating. That's going to make the pitching staff suffer.
Got some young pitchers. Troy Kelso.
Yeah.
He's decent. Like you said,
yeah, there's some
shitty personality, but sometimes what we used to say is that shitty personalities sometimes it doesn't freaking matter.
True. I mean,
bigger the asshole, the more stats they put up. So
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, another young pitcher in Tyler Worthen. So we got a lot of high potential, not quite there guys yet, but they're pitching well. So
yes and no. Again, it's going to be really tough to continue to pitch well with such bad defense behind. But yeah, I mean, looking at Tom Brueggemann, the number 3 pitcher here, he's 28 years old. He's actually pitched pretty well in his short career with the Smashers / Dragons. So it doesn't have great bars, but I mean, when he produces, and keep him there. John Talley, Harem Koljevic. Yeah, I mean, not a ton of depth.
Yeah, not a ton of depth, and there's no real superstar here yet. I noticed in the pitching staff a little right now.
Yeah.
Nobody really proven themselves.
Well, I mean, Kelso's kind of borderline.
He's
I mean,
borderline, but
a 3.29 ERA through
actually,
21
yeah, no, I take that back. He's
games last
borderline.
year. Yeah,
He's
I'd say
borderline.
he's something to build around.
But other than that, yeah, there's you don't have that number two quite solidified yet.
Well, yeah, we'll see if Worthen turns out to be something. He's only 20 years old, Tyler Worthen. That's actually
Wow.
one of the younger guys who must be in the TBL. Dude can't even drink yet.
Saving all that money. He's a rookie. He doesn't have the millions yet.
System's not super deep, so my worries for Durham is if they can find a window, because we've looked at some good teams in this division already that also have good systems.
Yes.
So if we keep restocking that talent as, some of these guys price out and become free agents, it's going to be really tough for NIF to kind of push their way up this division and compete. And I think we kind of said the same thing last year about this team. Like, not sure what the direction in the future looks like. I think, looking at some of these pieces going in the right direction, but a lot of work to do in terms of drafting well, maybe trading some of these pieces to bring in more assets just to continue to stock up. But again, maybe they just go for it through free agency when they have the cash flow.
Yeah, it's you're definitely in a hard spot. So,
looking at salaries, I mean, they've got most of this team locked up for next year too. So we didn't even talk about it just because he's on the DL, but Joaquin Verdugo is on this team. Kind of going in the other direction of his career.
He's injured right now. I was looking for him. I was like, where is he?
Yep. I mean, he's been historically good, so he's stepped down big time. Like, actually just fell off a cliff this year. What's the contract? Hopefully not $20 million, and then it's a team option next year, so you can get right out of that. So that's actually at least good. Miss does have a lot of team options in place. So
he went to Southern New Hampshire University.
SNHU?
He went to.
Yeah, they have a great baseball team.
Yeah.
He must have played online baseball just like us.
Oh, my Atlanta.
It's my Durham, actually. All right, who's next? Well, I just looked at the shallowness of the system. Again, 11 top 500 prospects, only 2 just inside the top 100, so no one really to talk about here.
They did get the number 1 pick this year, correct?
Yes, so. And I feel like Miff maybe took the wrong person. Not to hate hard, but I would have picked the college-ready player who looks like they could play in the major leagues by the end of the year. But I mean, the prospects that was taken isn't terrible. It just wasn't the 1-1 in my opinion. And everybody has their own opinion, so that's okay.
This is true.
All right, who's next? We got 9 minutes left on the clock. We're doing okay. We got 3 teams left.
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem, newest GM in the league. Winston-Salem, Daniel taking over basically on opening day. So this team is not his at all. He's got a lot of work to do to shape it how he wants to make it. But yeah, Brian was running this team, and he felt like the challenge was too big with all the leagues that he's in, and didn't want to commit to the rebuild. So he moved on, and it's now up to Daniel to try to make something of the Camels.
So welcome, Daniel.
Welcome, Daniel. Like every expansion team, he's going to challenge himself.
Yeah, this is going to be a struggle, but you can do it. I have faith.
You can do it.
You can do it. It's all about making deals, like you said, and getting those prospects and getting them, getting that farm system nice and plump, full of nice prospects. I think.
Yeah, he put Homare Okada on the block yesterday, and I think that's a smart move. Okada was an international free agent, and he signed to a pretty big contract, so you might have to do some finagling to ship him to the right person. but he's only 26 years old and he looks really talented and he hasn't been injured yet. So um, maybe he won't flame out. Maybe he'll be like a talent moving forward here. Dude's from Japan. Um, outside of that, do you like anybody on this team?
It's hard with these expansion teams because they really don't have much, to really look at. But no, you're right. Other than Homaru Okada, not really. And like his offense and his starters, bullpen, they're all bottom of the pack basically. So it's tough with these
Yeah,
teams. Tough to
he does
judge
have
them.
he does have 9-time All-Star Marcos Cepeda on the team, but at this point, Cepeda's in the latter half of his career. Actually, has been for a while, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm shocked this guy has 9 All-Star appearances. Just look at his career stats; he's not that amazing. He's never had more than 4.1 WAR in a season. He's a 9-time All-Star.
9-time All-Star. I mean, he's a catcher, so
some guys are just popular. He's a catcher.
A catcher that can hit.
Yeah.
So everybody likes a catcher that can hit. I guess doesn't matter if they're ass at playing catcher, but because he's more of a designated hitter than he is a catcher.
His ace, Cale Wan, isn't terrible. He's not like a true ace compared to some of the teams we've been looking at, but if he continues to build up the rotation, this guy has a home, I think, on the team.
Yeah.
Or trade bait again after a couple seasons here, maybe let him prove himself. But you're right, this team's pretty bad, and I told Daniel it's a rebuilding kind of situation, so I think he expects that. Hopefully, he does stick around long enough to see the fruits of his labor pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. Things can happen.
Does this team have any prospects? Winston-Salem. They do. Okay, they got 16 top 500 prospects. They've got 2 in the top 100. Very top prospects out for 8 weeks, so that's not a good sign. And it's his second serious injury in 2013. Or no, excuse me. He had 2 serious injuries already, so that's rough. But he's got some okay looking pieces here. So we'll see if they can continue to develop. Let's actually look at Vince Burridge real quick. Number 253 ranked prospect. It looks like he's the closer right now for this team. He's actually not too bad. Yeah, not top end talent, but should be a good enough bullpen piece going forward. On to the next one.
Yep. Who is it?
Should point out that Winston-Salem's only 1 game back from the wild card. It's anybody's division.
They can make it. They're technically still in the hunt. So.
Next up is Chad's team, the Galveston Gremlins. And I'll let you start off. What do you think of the Gremlins?
Well, it looks like they're on the fall. They've been a very good team in this league for a long time. They're kind of one of those teams that does well, then goes to shit, and you can see it in this graph over here. Decent, down, up, down, and right now they're on the down. So,
well, we should talk about Chad. He is a second-year GM. He took over mid-season last year for Matt. Matt was here from the beginning.
I forgot about that. I forgot that we lost Matt.
So I mean, this team, you're right, has been good for a really long time. They haven't finished under 500 since 2003, even though they missed the playoffs with 91 wins one year. They missed the playoffs last year with 87 wins. And they've missed with 85 wins and 83 wins.
That's very impressive. That's crazy.
I think this team may be one of the most consistent franchises in the TBL. We'd have to look at winning percentage, but I bet they're up there in the top 5.
517 in winning percentage. They're 1,102. So, more wins than losses for sure. So, they're about 500. Yeah, this team, Malik Knowles, though, he's hitting like out of his mind right now. How is he for a player? I don't think he's a shortstop, but if that's who he's got there, that's what he's got, you know?
Yeah, he is hitting out of his mind, hitting 429. I think he was on a 25-game hit streak, something like that. Something in the 20s. I think, right? Is that who I called out the other day?
Yeah, you did. So, yeah, I think you did. I don't have
No,
lists.
no. Gervasio Flores on this team has a 25-game hit streak. He's number 5 hitter. So his number 5 hitter is hitting 378. He's a first baseman. Looks kind of average, to be honest, but he's on fire right now.
On fire.
The hit streak. This offense is producing as one of the best offenses in the East Conference right now. So just consistency across the lineup. But you're right, Malik Knowles, I do like this guy. I do think he's second baseman eventually.
Yeah.
But super talented.
Yeah, I think his pitching is probably what's holding him back, wouldn't you say?
I don't know. He's got Mike Adames at the top there. He's a clear talent.
Why is his pitching staff so bad? I mean, they're 13th. Like Goldsberry's not pitching well at all.
I mean, again, it goes to the defense, right? Defensive efficiency, 16th. Errors, 16th. Zone rating, 13th.
Oof.
I mean, those are all dead last. So
yeah, that's not good.
If we're looking at this lineup here, like who's the problem defensively? I mean, Jaden Bascom's not great at second base. We just said Malik Knowles is probably a second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Meeker, not great defensive bars. Adames is hitting DH. I mean,
Tim Rohn, not really. Yeah, they're not really that great defensively. They got like the arm to play the position they're at, but not really the, not what you really want. But hey, it's what you can afford, what you got to put out there. So.
Yeah. Just again, when your pitching, I mean, when your defense suffer, tale as old as time. But you're right. I think this rotation doesn't look terrible. They should be doing a lot better than they're doing right now.
Yeah, they're super underperforming. That's a very nice rotation there.
But that's also, kind of a good thing if you're Chad, right? Because like you're 10-14, your rotation, which is strong, is playing like shit. If you can fix the defense a little bit, then you're probably a playoff team.
Yeah, making a run at least. It looks like his bullpen though is really taking it hard too. Like Kilpatrick,
he's got 5 guys that are just like literally giving up.
Yeah, just like
or more.
Like, don't put them in the game. Keep Brandon Rogers and Stuart Grant in there. They have him pitch every day. You'll be fine.
Again, I think that's going to be defense though too, because
it has to be defense. How's his offense in the outfield and defense? His center fielder, I think he's just got I think very susceptible.
Look, I don't hate some of these pitchers with terrible ERAs. I don't like Dustin very much, but like the rest of these guys have some decent pitches, and looking at their track record, they haven't been terrible either. So unless they just fell off a cliff this year, which I mean, some of them are pretty old now, 32, 33. That's when pitchers can start to fall off. I mean, this team's just underperforming in my opinion.
Yeah, underperforming definitely on the pitching side. Yeah, for sure. And if the question is, does it have to do with defense? Probably does.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. 24 errors already in the month of April. That's not good.
I mean, specifically, like his outfield's pretty bad. Like his center fielder.
Yeah.
Again, he's a corner outfielder, and he's probably a left fielder because he has no arm. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Does he have any money tapped out? He's got like $2 million, so he's in the green. Can maybe go after someone in a trade. But yeah, he's got some work to do. I think he's maybe a contender, but he's definitely not like a. I don't think he's going deep, even if he contends.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his pitching staff is taking that. It's that good, but it's taking that much of a hit. There's holes somewhere.
It might be a morale thing. I mean,
Could be
win
too.
87 games and miss the playoffs. Jeez, they lost game 162 to New Orleans, I
Team
believe.
chemistry. Let's check it out.
All right,
They're
excuse
happy.
me, game 163.
They're happy. They're happy in Galveston.
There's a lot of captains on that team, huh? So, all right, 11 top 500 prospects. One in the top 100, Patrick Doran, who's actually, I mean, his 4 top prospects are all in the big league right now. So he's got a bunch of rookies on this team. 75, 156, 171, 200. So after these guys kind of age out here, he's going to have no top 200 prospects. So his system's pretty barren. So I think he is still kind of in win now mode, but he's hoping that pitching will turn it around so he can have a shot at the postseason here, because unless he builds through free agency, he's not building through the minor leagues right now.
Yeah. Agreed. This is a tough team to. I like the rotation, but I don't like what's happening to it. So.
Yep.
What's going
on? All right,
on?
one team left. We're over our clock.
And we're on the last team.
Is the Fort Collins Roosters.
Not used to seeing this team down here.
Yeah, one of our OGs here, Kyle. Actually, we kind of are used to seeing this team down here in April. For some reason, this team always starts slow. I don't know if there's statistics on that somewhere, but I would bet money on it that they are frequently towards the bottom in April for some reason. Kyle's made the postseason 3 straight years, and his team's gotten stronger every year. 83, 88, 93 wins. He's an OG, like I just said, right? So he has made the postseason 8 times. He's been pretty successful overall. I think he's made it to the conference championship a couple times, including last year. Did he lose last year to Washington in the
lost in the conference championship? Yep.
Yeah, he was down to Tampa 3-1, I think, right? And then came back.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We didn't have preseason predictions this year. I forgot. So who knows what this team was projected to do? But what do you think of this team, and who do you like?
I mean, it looks like the team's underperforming.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, he's got studs on this team. So.
What do you think of this team?
I think they're good. I mean, Dave Morgan, he's paying a couple guys a ton of money. I know that for a fact. He's paying Dave Morgan $40 million a year for the next 4 years.
And he's hitting lights out.
Andre Crawford, $30 million a year for the next 3 years. So outside of that, it's going to be hard to keep some of this intact, I think. But yeah, Dave Morgan is really good. He's been putting up 5+ WAR for 3 straight seasons now. Although he has been kind of trending down. You never know when they're going to bounce back and have a great season, though.
Yeah.
Jason Blanc, this guy was a rookie last year, and he had an awesome season. And he looks pretty good as a corner outfielder. Yeah, I mean, I like his lineup. Like, there's some really good pieces there, and he always focuses on defense. His defense hasn't been too bad this year, kind of up there in errors, but that can be fluky, I feel like.
Yeah, errors happen, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Faust, he's 35 now at shortstop, but he's got 5 Gold Gloves, so I'm sure he can still do it. Yeah, he's got a positive zone rating right now. Yeah, I don't know. The lineup is okay. The lineup's not the best, but it's not the worst. He's got some nice pieces there. The pitching staff, the starting rotation should be a lot better than it, I feel like. 14th in ERA right now, 12th in bullpen ERA. But
yeah, it's a lot similar to Galveston. He's got like a super stud. Like, what's going on with their pitching staff here? You know, they should be pitching better than that.
Yeah, Crawford's one of those anomalies to me. Because he's like, I mean, he's highly rated. This is where I just probably don't get the game, but he's highly rated. He's put up really good WAR in our WAR, 30 career R WAR already as a pitcher. And he's got like the worst changeup ever, and then 2 nice pitches. like his changeup is his primary pitch, though. Like I don't know. Doesn't allow home runs. HRA seems to be pretty important in this version, so maybe that's a big part of it. Jeffrey Cragen, another young guy, pitched really well over the seasons, so his staff is still pretty potent. They're really underperforming right now. He does have basically a rookie. I think he came up at the deadline last year in Tony De Arcangelo. So we'll see what he turns into.
Yeah.
And yeah, the bullpen, I don't hate the bullpen. I think it's like, again, nobody's bullpen's great, but this one's above average in the back, I feel like. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
got good depth. Yeah.
I think really there's 5 teams that can compete in this division, and I think Fort Collins is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that these 2 teams are on the bottom of the division right now. But I mean, they're only 4 games out of first place at that. So
that's true. I mean, this is as even of a division as there is. So
yeah,
we're giving him shit for being in last place, but he's like right there.
So it's
he's two games out of the wild card.
Yeah, 2 games out of the wild card, last place in the division. So there's still hope.
Yeah. Just a slow start for Kyle, but I think he turns it around. So, do you want to rank this monster division first, or do you want me to go?
I'm gonna do it.
All right, let's see what you got.
I'm gonna go with. My dog is very anticipated for this. I'm gonna say New Orleans on top. I said I don't think they're gonna win the division. Changed my mind. I think they're winning the division. I'm gonna go with Tampa in second, and Denver in third. Las Vegas fourth. Actually, no, take that back. Fort Collins fourth, and Las Vegas fifth. Galveston sixth. Durham, and then Winston-Salem in last.
All right, yeah, I've got a little different from you. I've got Tampa Bay winning. I like their team. I've got New Orleans second, so we're just kind of flip-flopping those 2. I do have Denver third, just like you do. I've actually got Galveston fourth, so you had them sixth. I have them fourth. I have Fort Collins fifth. You had them fourth. I've got Las Vegas sixth. You had them fifth. And then I agree Durham, and then I agree Winston-Salem.
Yeah, I just think those 2 teams are overperforming at the moment.
All right, 5 minutes, and then wrap this thing up.
Yeah, 5 more minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Not really much to talk about in the Sapphire, anyways.
All right.
I'll see you back in a few.
Sounds good.
All right. Ready to roll on with the Sapphire?
Let's do this.
Who's the best team in this division?
I would say it's Washington, and they've been running it for a while.
Washington's been running the Ice Conference for a while. No championships, unfortunately. But back-to-back conference titles. Even the year Denver won 2 years ago, they had the best record overall and had the field in the playoffs, and then made it to the championship last year, and then ran into a juggernaut pitching staff in the Mobsters. But Steve, after being kind of the the loser of the league, that's not the right word. He didn't have a lot of success
He did
at
not.
all early on.
He was
He's
injury
an
prone
OT.
in the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
Or league.
he had a ton of injury issues, but not just that. If you remember, he would miss the playoffs by one game,
Yes.
every year, and sometimes there's a collapse, and sometimes if you actually look at him, he has a great winning because he hasn't finished. Well, he had a down season a few years ago, but he missed the playoffs with 86 wins, 85 wins, 84 wins, 80 wins, 84 wins. Those were his first 5 of his first 6 seasons. But yeah, he finally broke through 2007, and then again a couple more misses, and now he's been there 3 straight years, and he's looked like a really tough team to beat. 103 wins in 2012, 108 wins last year, and he's off to a 19-5 start.
Yes, hot team, best team in the league
at the moment.
At the moment, starting, I think this is a great team. I really like this team a lot.
Yeah, he's good on both sides of the ball.
You got Fred Cox. He's getting up there in age. He's 20. Well, even he's 29, still 20. On the right side of 30 so far, almost. But one more
Yeah, he's
year.
one of my favorite players in the league. I will say, Steve has had some of my favorite players that have come through the TBL. Like Jason Kolar was one of my favorites in the league for a while.
Yeah.
Fred Cox is sitting there right now. Even Zachary Fast, honestly, who's declined quite a bit, it looks like. And too bad because he's only 29. Definitely love this guy too.
Yeah. Yeah, very fast and good hitting team. So I really like this team.
Yeah, kind of the same mold as Milwaukee, to be honest. Like a lot of speed in the lineup, a bit more power than Milwaukee, to be honest. But yeah, just looking at this team here, a lot of these guys are coming back from the really strong season last year. Josh Ives played for me last year, or excuse me, played for me 2 years ago, and then just sat around in Steve's AAA all year in 2013, and now he's starting at first base for this team. But the rest of these guys have been on the team for multiple years. They're all part of that, not championship DNA, but that super talented, win a lot of games DNA so far.
I think it's just a wait to break it. Could this be the year?
It could be, for sure. He's definitely going to be in contention again. He's got no one else, I think, with him in the Sapphire. So I anticipate he's going to win the division.
I do too.
Outside of injury and, outside of some other team getting crazy hot or making some insane deadline move.
Yeah.
He did bring in Pete Spooner from Boston. But those are the two changes. Josh Ives' promotion and Pete Spooner and the rest of these guys are kind of run it back players. On the pitching side, he made a huge trade for Boyd Perry a few years ago. Boyd Perry does have a pitch and would probably have multiple, but he was stuck behind Roland Cook for a few seasons when Roland Cook was cooking, so to say. But I love Boyd Perry as a really great, talented pitcher. Butch Winter is obviously his breadwinner with 5 tremendous pitches and really good bars. Led the
Yep.
league in wins last year. Again, wins don't really matter, but just point that out. And yeah, Butch Winter's only 27 years old. So looking at the rest of this rotation here, Adam Hess, that's a new name. He was a rookie last year, but definitely not someone that's household at this point. It wasn't tremendous last year, but it looks like he has a ton of potential to be good. He's a lefty, so he's got a lefty in the middle of that rotation.
That's always nice to
And then
have.
and then he does have kind of some fillers at the bottom of the rotation, but like Brian Boyd and his spots pitching off the charts right now. So yeah, just a really good rotation, and he has the best bullpen we've looked at. They're not, again, no bullpens deep from like 1-8 or 1 now, but Denny Lord at the back end, Gabe Negrete, both these guys are closer material, and they're both pitching really, really well. So 10 innings pitched, 17 innings pitched. So, yeah, that's why Steve's winning. He's got good pieces in a lot of places. Looking at the team stat rankings again, just through April, best pitching staff in baseball, one of the best defenses in baseball, best defensive efficiency in the ice conference, third in zone ratings. Errors again kind of fluky. I'm sure that comes down with the other two stats being so good. But also kind of like Milwaukee, 13th in home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is like a very similar team to Milwaukee, but I think I think they're a little better than Milwaukee this year.
Well, yeah, obviously Milwaukee's taking a step back a little bit. Maybe we'll see. We still picked them to finish first, and well, you had them finishing fourth. I had them finishing first.
I did.
So we will see. But yeah, no, I think Steve's primed just to run it back for a third straight year.
Yeah,
for a championship.
I think he's got a good chance too. So he's got to worry about the other division. So
yeah. Yep.
I think he's on cruise control till the end of the season. So hurry up and get there.
Yeah, so he can tell us to hurry up and sim the championship game. Why is this taking so long? Calm your ass down, Steve. God damn it. All right, 11 top 500 prospects. So his system's not super deep. Again, we talked about how he traded away 1 through 3 for Boyd Perry. So that's not super surprising. He did kind of mortgage the future a little bit to secure that rotation. Obviously, it's paid off. He does have a nice prospect in Double A in Milo Ljevek, number 48 prospect overall. Don't love this guy, but maybe a possible possible producer in the big league at first base in the future, or DH.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, pretty shallow system, I would say. Actually, don't hate Jim Hoggard either. Good defender. So, but yeah, no one else really close to making that big league production. On the DL, Nate Pierce doesn't look terrible. So, all right, next team.
We have an expansion team sitting at second place.
Yeah, this is. There's been a couple seasons where Tyler's Syracuse Stealth have started kind of hot, but like, can they maintain?
Is he
this
the
has definitely been the
original?
best. Yeah, for these, I think he's our only original expansion GM.
I was going to say our expansion GMs have been very fluky, so I'm happy that we have had a full blown.
Yeah,
GM
obviously
here.
the expansion draft didn't go off too well.
No,
but we survived.
we survived. We survived.
Yeah, 15-9, off to a good start for Tyler. He's been the closest to making the postseason. Looking back at his history real quick, 83-79 his first season. He had a above 500 record. He just didn't make the playoffs. Last year, 75-87. So he's been okay.
Yeah, I think this was the best team. I think in the best position to make the playoffs as it
Yeah,
goes.
but
I think he's the
only
best.
if the rest of the only if the rest of the division sucks, because like
Yeah,
he doesn't have a ton of talent on this team. I'm gonna look at Mike Zuluki. This guy's actually a real quality player. He got him in a trade with Milwaukee, so well done there. I wonder who was in that trade. I'm gonna look at the history real quick. For Bo Moses. So Bo Moses, although he's a okay player, I think the stealth definitely gets the better of this deal. Um, Yamamoto is actually okay, the third baseman hitting cleanup. Not a very good fielder. That's kind of actually an Achilles heel, but good offensive bars, good speed. He's got a really great defensive catcher, but he definitely needs a guy that's going to be better than 33. That's a little too low for a catcher. He did hit 231 last year, so maybe he picks it up. But
yeah.
yeah, Vanderwerf,
If he picks it up, yeah, he can be better.
he may not. His bars are pretty shitty.
I still take it for them bars for defense. I mean, it helps your pitching staff out so much. I think so.
Agreed. Agreed. So yeah, pretty average team in my opinion, with a couple nice pieces.
Yeah, I think the
And
yeah, I think it's just a well put together expansion team, and I think they're going to fall short. I think they're overperforming at the moment.
yeah, I would agree. I don't know who's going to step up. I mean, maybe Lehigh.
It's got to be Lehigh or Philly. Philly's going to break through eventually.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Until Philly's like one of those teams until they prove it.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, exactly.
Looking at the pipeline, 11 top 500 prospects, 3 in the top 100. Most of them are pretty far away. He does have a catcher who's kind of on the verge. Another good defensive catcher, actually, in Joe Summy. So maybe he comes up into a backup role by the end of the year. Um, but yeah, another team that I would suggest he sells at the deadline, flip some pieces, unless he's right there, right?
Hmm.
But sell at the deadline, add prospects. Any shitty team that should be your blueprint. Next,
That would be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Bobby's team. What do you think of the Eagles this year, Chris?
What do you think of the Eagles this year, Paul?
Um, I don't know. I'm looking up and down the lineup now. 23-year-old Alex Flores in his rookie year. This guy could be okay. He's speedy. He's got a good bat. Um, Again, only a first baseman in my opinion. So who knows if who knows on that sense. Obviously, David Ramirez actually is a really talented player on this team and has been for a couple years. It's going to be his fourth season, and he's been tremendous in his first 3. Won Rookie of the Year, I think. Yep, in 2011. So honestly, if Bobby can compete, I think he should compete. If he can't, flip Ramirez for like 2 draft classes. That's kind of what I feel. He's
I
got a
think
lot of guys with that profile of good power, good eye.
I think this team can do good, and I believe in Philly this year. I think the talent in the Sapphire division at the moment, he can lock himself up for second place.
Yeah, his catcher's okay defensively. Terrible offense. Shortstop's okay defensively. Center fielder's not terrible, not great. Um, so yeah, if his defense can kind of carry him a little bit, then I don't know. How's the pitching look? Nick Henson looks really nice. It's like Nick Henson was a rookie last year and a future ace on this team. 5 great pitches. Kind of an underwhelming changeup, but everything else is as good as it gets. Yeah, this guy looks really, really good,
Yeah,
actually. And he's a left-hander. 12th overall pick. 11 people missed out in 2008. So yeah, no, I love Nick Henson at the top of his rotation. Actually, Noah Gadsden looks pretty good, and his rotation doesn't look terrible. I actually don't hate this rotation. I think I might better. I think I like this rotation in totality better than I like Washington.
Better than you like Washington's?
I think I like Washington's pieces better, but I like the depth of this rotation better. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I like Washington's pitching staff better.
I mean, look at his pitchers are 24, 27, um, and his studs 25. Nick Tabor, his number 5 pitcher, looks good. Um, so yeah, and then on the back end, he's got. I tried to trade for, couldn't come to agreement, but I definitely like his closer and Joe Miller quite a bit. I think he's got a nice bullpen, like a nice. I like his pitching staff overall. They're underperforming so far through April. Maybe that picks up, and the offense is, I think, overperforming a little bit. So maybe both come kind of back towards center. But he's sitting at 500, so it takes just one hot streak to put you in good position.
I don't hate this team, and I think they're in a good position this year.
Yeah, I think in the division that they're in, they're going to be.
They're gonna be fine. They're just gonna stay away from third place. That's all they got to do. Lehigh, I think, is their Achilles heel.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, again, I think third place could sneak in from fire just because the other division cannibalizes itself at the end.
That's true. Yeah, you're correct. So there is a
But
chance.
yeah, I mean, we just talked about who lost game 163 last year. Was that actually that was two teams from the? Never mind, that was two J teams. So yeah, everybody came from the Jade last year. Looking at the system here for Philly, we've got 18 top 500 guys, got one in the top 100, so not a ton of top end talent, but okay depth. Clark Lake is in Double A right now, and this guy is not far away. He's their top prospect. Could see him by call up day, I think, to add a little punch to this team. Outside of that, things are pretty far away. Kent Garcia, true rookie, but he's on. Yeah, everybody else, yeah, not too close. He's got a DH and Chris Johnson, but who knows where he plugs that guy. So yeah, good luck to Bobby. Obviously, we've talked about the most unsuccessful franchises at expansion TBL. Philly is the standard bearer. We haven't seen a postseason appearance from the Eagles since 2002. So we're now on
Two
year 12.
two playoff appearances, one big league championship. So some say they're 500. So
Yep, not Bobby's championship. So
yeah,
no credit given
can't give him
there.
credit there. But no, but
Yeah, no, this is season 12 of not being in the postseason. So hopefully he can squeak in. I mean, he hasn't even finished above fourth since 2005. So I think what you're looking for with this team is a step in the right direction. 79, 79, 75 wins last 3 years. So he hasn't been terrible. It's been a pretty 500 team, but just needs to take that next step.
yeah, I think he can. I think he might be there. I don't know. Tough to say. We'll take a look at the next few teams to make that decision here in final cut here.
Yeah, next up is the Boston Boom, Sal's team. I want to say this is season 2 or 3 for Sal. I'm going to look real quick. What do you think of the Boston Boom? This is season number 3 for Sal.
So he took over a team that was this has been a team that's started off really bad in this league and got a lot of good draft picks, and they finally came to fruition. And I think the team kind of fell apart. Wasn't the right mold, I don't think, and I think Salad to sell him, correct? So I think he was in a sell
Well,
mode. So I think he's made a lot of trades. I want to say, I think, am I correct on
yeah,
that?
he traded away some huge pieces. like superstar pieces.
Yeah, you got like
Like
Boyd Perry is one of them, right?
Boyd Perry, and I think Matt Clark was the other one. A really good hitter on his team. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, the history. Boston hasn't been super great. 3 playoff appearances, all in the late 2000s, and then the last year Jack was running the team, they nosedived, and then Jack vacated the league. We might see Jack again someday. He said he wanted to come back, but yeah, Sal took over a team that could have gone either direction, I feel like, and he decided to sell and kind of rebuild it in his own image, so to say, or his own vision. So yeah, they're sitting at 500 this year, and yeah, let's take a look here. I mean, I feel like the lineup's pretty average.
Yeah, I think this is yeah, just a team, yeah, average team. Nothing
Yeah,
special about it.
pretty underwhelming in a lot of positions.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a bright spot here, but I don't really see one. Like, not a great defensive shortstop. Catcher's kind of average. He's not terrible. He's not great.
He is what we call rebuilding.
I don't hate Israel Escalante. He's not a superstar, but he's an okay piece. He's got good range for an outfielder. He's speedy. So he at least has one of those 3 defensive positions plugged with a talented player. And the pitching staff also sucks, big time.
He's only got one left-hander in his in his pitching staff, and it's a specialist.
Yeah, yeah. So all righties on the pitching staff, they're overperforming, if anything, because I think maybe one of the worst pitching staffs we've looked at, to be honest. Bullpen ERA 5th. That's the only shining spot in the pitching through April, anyways. So
Yeah, I don't think there's
no,
really anything special about this team. I mean, they got a bunch of draft picks, so they
they
probably
do.
they probably have some talent there as well.
Yeah, I think they had 3 first-round picks. Maybe I'm wrong. No, they have quite a few picks in the draft, so hopefully they're rebuilding. They only have 8 top 500 prospects, so their system is unfortunately pretty naked. They do have the number 30 prospect overall, and he's sitting in AAA right now, Zach Cheed. But he could probably honestly be lower than AAA. He could probably be down in AA. I mean, AAA is not terrible, but Edwin Alfaro, the number 81 prospect, looks like he has some potential as a power bat, but just a first baseman can't really build a team around a first baseman. So yeah, definitely a lot of work to do to bring the boom back to. This might be another dark period for the boom. A lot of work to do to try to find a direction for this team.
Yep, agreed.
Next is the Lehigh Valley Scrapples and JP's team. This team's kind of found some success over the last few years. They haven't been able to put it together in the postseason, but they've been there for 2 straight years now. 89 and then 97 wins last year, just shy of that 100-win mark. What are your thoughts on the Scrapples here, sitting at 12-12?
They look like they're injured. But is there anybody? Yeah, they got some injuries over here.
Yeah, quite a few injuries. Career over, Matt Sandifer, poor guy, 23 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't even get 50 innings pitched.
No superstars really on the injury list, but a lot of depth. I mean,
Yeah,
when
a
you
lot
got
of
3 pitchers out, really tests your system. The bats, Todd Vella's pretty good for a first baseman. Definitely a great contact guy. Steals a ton of bases. Led the league actually last year in hits. Had 232 hits, which was I think maybe even like top 5 all time for a single season. Led the league in runs last year, at bats, plate appearances. Led the league in triples 2 years ago, at bats 2 years ago. So he's got a lot of red paint on his resume. He's had 3 200 hit seasons. So this guy can get on base.
There's a lot of red ink there.
Matt Richardson had a nice season last year in AAA. He's a rookie this year. Matt Richards, 25-year-old lefty, playing right field, and he's off to an okay start to the season. Another rookie in Bill Harwood in the 5 spot. So he's got some new pieces here in the lineup. This time will tell if they can kind of fill those roles. Another rookie, Juan, third baseman. Another rookie in Chris Bruhard, the catcher, good defensive catcher here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, pulling out a lineup full of rookies. I don't know if they will be the same kind of competitor they are. He's got a terrible shortstop in terms of offense, but maybe the best defensive shortstop in the league. Insane.
Nothing gets by him. He can't hit the ball, but nothing gets by him.
Yeah, yep.
Played on 108 games with Denver last year.
108 games, all in defensive replacement. Like 4 games started, 108 games played. So he came in late in games as a defensive replacement, like every game.
That's crazy.
Yep. I mean, he had 21 at bats in 108 games. 2 hits last year. Obviously, this team revolves around 3-time Pitcher of the Year Roland Cook, the 27-year-old lefty. And Cook was phenomenal again last year, but wasn't as good as Mike Shane. Actually hasn't won the last 2 years because of Mike Shane and on the Mudcats, but has been in contention. He's been a top 3 pitcher probably. He's led the league in innings pitched 5 straight seasons, so he's a workhorse. He's led the league in strikeouts 5 straight seasons. And yeah, he's another guy with a ton of red paint here. He was just lights out 2009, 10, and 11. He's still been really good the last 2 years.
Yeah, and he's got some depth here as well, but it definitely goes around Roland Cook is his number 1 guy. And it's got the best bullpen ERA in the division or conference.
I'm kind of curious what the 2008 draft looked like because he was picked 1-2 overall. Who was the 1?
2008?
Yeah.
I forget when my number 1 draft pick was.
I'm going back. I'm looking up Stats Plus. I'm curious. Let's see. So Roland Cook was the 1-2. Ryan Roach. All right. So that was a good pick as well. Ryan Roach. At least 1 MVP, if not more than 1. So, all right. What else with the team? Roka's okay. I mean, his pitching's not super deep.
His bullpen is killing it right now.
Yeah, his bullpen is pitching really well. I mean, his whole pitching staff's pitching really well so far.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's backed up by one of the best defenses. Again, they're very compatico, so to say, 3rd in efficiency, 1st in zone rating. So he's building a strong defensive team to support that pitching. Just needs the bats to do something. Part of me thinks, like, why is Todd Vela hitting 3rd? He's a guy that has 25 power. Like, put Todd Vela at the top of the lineup where he's getting on all the time, and then someone like Shane Hunt right in front of you, knocking him in. But I don't know. Don't make sense to me, but JP has more titles than I do, so I'm not going to question it. Not here, but in out of the park history. All right, system. What do we think of Lehigh's system?
Got a number 9 overall. Looks like he's almost ready.
Yeah, I remember this guy getting picked. He was another 1-2. And yeah, this guy looks like he's going to be really good. So maybe Roland Cook 2.0. Probably not that good.
No, he doesn't have the control, but I like him.
Yep. Good. Gary Benline in Double-A. He's only 25 overall. Maybe this seems too high to me. and everybody else is pretty far away. But again, 14 top 500 guys. He's Barons. He's a smart GM. If I wouldn't be surprised if he takes advantage of the weakness of this division and finishes second again.
Yep. Agreed. I just think he's got a slow start.
We are cruising right now because there's not much to talk about on these 20 minutes left. Get through the last three. What do you think of Montreal? And
are they on the bounce back? Because they have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, this is our other Ryan. And the Machine were a powerhouse mid 2000s. I don't know if they've had much success since Ryan took over, and that's not his fault. They were kind of on the decline. Let's see, when did Ryan take this team over? This is season number 3 at the helm for Ryan. Looking back at the history here, Montreal hasn't made the postseason since 2009. Ryan took over in 2011, and yeah, they've been like a 60 to 70 win team those 3 years. So he inherited a team that was pretty barren.
Yeah.
Montreal, as a franchise, does have one championship back in the day. What do we think of the 2014 squad, Chris?
I just think it's run the average team and weak division.
Steve Moss still doing his thing.
Yep.
On the Machine. I think he tried to get rid of him, but he had like a no. 10-5 rights.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, I have a lot of people on my team that are got 10-5 rates, so I can't trade them even if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I got to roll with them. So
yeah, a lot of these guys are brought back. Been on the team for quite a few years. Paulson, Alzaga, Nava, Moss. Jones looks like he's a rookie here. Joe Jones, not to be confused with heavyweight champ John Jones.
Great personality.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He played 60 games last year. Is that enough, or is he a rookie this year?
No, I think that's under. So, John Padilla, or Padilla. He's American. John Padilla, another rookie on this team playing left field. Outside of that, it's whatever. Catcher's pretty average, not the best defender. Shortstop is not a shortstop. I bet if we look at this team's defensive rankings, they're not good. You can't play a shortstop that has 45 range. He's 35. His position rating at shortstop's 35. He's 36 years old. He probably can't even find shortstop in his old age.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like this team's lineup very much. The pitching is okay. Y'all. If you remember, like back when they were a really good franchise, their bullpen was like lights out.
Yeah.
Their bullpen now, I would say, is somewhere between average to above average.
Yeah, we call it average.
Jonathan Cantu, top of the order, top of the rotation, 24 years old. He's in his 3rd season now for the Machine, so he's starting to get into those arbitration years. Time to make a decision on him if you're going to extend him as part of your franchise or if you're going to try to ship him off at the trade deadline, get some assets, and rebuild. Kasper Johansson here is just 23 years old, and he's also in his what we'll call his 2nd season here after getting the post call-up day debut in 2012. And this guy I don't hate. Again, the control's kind of low. Maybe that's a depth. Try to get that to boost. But he's got 4 nice pitches. And then in terms of depth, like his pitching's not terrible. His number 5 starter is over the hill, Javon Cooper. But I think his rotation's again average, not above or below.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here that like it's just like a run back team. Nothing here that really wows you. Their pitching staff, the rookies and the pitching staff, kind of gives me a little hope that this team may get some hope here in the future.
Yeah, maybe. He does have 15 top 500 prospects. He's got the number 8 prospect in the game. That's Roberto Alvarado, the 1-7 pick in the 2012 draft. So not long ago. He's already got him up in AAA. He had him up in AAA last year, and he didn't struggle, but he wasn't great. So 35 to 75 overall. I would be surprised if we saw him debut this year. I think you keep him down no matter what, because I don't think you compete this year. So you keep him
Yeah,
down, and then
keep
maybe
him
next year
down.
he debuts as your future ace. But outside of that, everybody else is kind of far away, I would say. I don't really like where he has some of these guys. Like, he's got a bunch of 30, like top 500 prospects, 30 overall playing AAA right now. Fill your system with a bunch of shitty guys and let these guys develop at the lower levels where they're going to face weaker competition and kind of get some confidence going. My opinion. Two teams left.
Two teams left. Who are they?
You've got the Somerville money line. OG never missed an export. JR off to a terrible start, 8-16. And Somerville's been good. They've, after the joke of being the every other season guy, made the playoffs, missed playoffs, mid playoffs, missed playoffs, mid playoffs, missed playoffs, mid playoffs, missed playoffs. That was his first 8 years. He's made it 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Although maybe he's just changed his pattern up. Looking at it, maybe two in a row, and then you miss 2 in a row, and then maybe this year's a miss, and then he'll be right back at it next year. So he was just sick of the narrative. He wanted to change his style.
Yeah, you didn't like that graph. You wanted to change it up a bit.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think of the money line? Do you think they have a chance to turn this thing around this year?
I mean, I don't hate this team at all, and they were one game shy of 100 wins last year. So
Were
I
they
think
really that good? Oh. Yeah, back-to-back 95 plus wins.
so. I think maybe underperforming a little bit. His offense is definitely struggling. Like Mario Rodriguez hitting second in the lineup, hitting 172 is not spectacular. You don't like those numbers right there. Because, and your leadoff guy hitting 230, I mean, you can handle that, I guess, but your 3 and your 4 guy are hitting what they're supposed to.
Yeah, he's definitely harassing the shit out of the or abusing the shit. Abusing is not the right word until someone complains. But he's abusing the shit out of the team options. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 team options active right now in these contracts. I'm sure he wishes he could get out of the Travis Plath contract, even though Travis Plath has actually been pretty good. Maybe he doesn't wish that. But he's paying Travis Plath $29 million a year. He's got Matt Clark and Ryan Roach locked up for a long ass time, which is a good thing. They're both 27 and they both are superstars in the league. Although again, Matt Clark injured last. Ooh, huge injury history on Matt Clark. This was the big trade with Boston where he gave up a shitload. Maybe he didn't look at this screen first. Because this guy's what we call a scroll guy. You got to scroll to see his history.
Yeah, 2005, 2006, 2007,
8 weeks last year with
2008,
back spasms.
2009, 2010, 2011. He only had one injury, so.
I mean, he played 68 games last year. That's not what you're paying a guy 26 million a year for. And he extended him for 3 more years. So again, I feel like that's a mistake. Matt Clark definitely is not worth a 3-year extension. So I don't know. That's going to be maybe a contract he regrets in the next few years, in my opinion. Looking at Ryan Roach, though, Ryan Roach is a stud. We just talked about him being the 1-1 overall in 2008. He did win an MVP award in 2012. He also has an injury history, but it's definitely not that bad. It's something you can kind of look the other direction at because he put up 10 WAR in 2012. He's put up 6 WAR last year. He's been a straight up superstar in the league. But yeah, no, I really dislike the Matt Clark contract. I'm going to be honest. You better hope he stays healthy. He's got 6 homers through 23 games. When he's healthy, he's wicked good. Just like, ooh.
Yeah, when he's playing,
how long? How long is he going to be in the lineup?
Yeah.
Got to give Frank Escobar a shout out. Lifelong money line, 2006. And did he bring anybody in this year? Any new faces?
No, he lost DJ Marksberry. But
so Ryan
he's
Roach
old.
actually. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Ryan Roach was actually a trade in the offseason from New York. He actually gave up a shitload for Ryan Roach too, I think, if I remember correctly. Like 5 prospects and a bunch of picks. So maybe you find a sucker and they take Matt Clark because they're not, and they don't look at the injury history.
They're not listening to the podcast.
Yep, that's what you get when you don't listen to the podcast. But yeah, no, I don't like that. I think this team has really great top end talent in the lineup, really great top end talent in the rotation, really great top end talent, but not a lot of depth throughout the whole team.
Yeah. I think the team's underperforming at the moment and could turn around eventually. I don't know how to call it with Somerville right now.
Well, yeah, Dan Sonneville is really great. 24.
Yeah.
He a rookie last year. I mean, that's really the highlight of his rotation, though, right?
Yeah.
Oscar Yanez is maybe the best closer in baseball right now. He's led the league in saves back-to-back years in the conference, anyways. Off to a slow start, but I'm sure that's going to turn around. But yeah, no depth. I did rip him for having bad defense, and he let me hear it. And his defense is good this year, so I just want to set the record straight. 2014 moneyline defense, A+ in my book. Joe Warfield, like for real, really great shortstop in terms of defense.
Yeah.
Matt Shepler kind of underwhelming as a catcher defensively. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good bars on offense, though. I'd take it.
I mean, look at John Lopez at the top of the order, though. He's another, maybe the best center fielder defensively in the league.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Looks like he can play second base too. He can play
Oh,
infield
is he like an
too.
all-around player?
Oh yeah, you can play infield
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Look at that. Yeah, you can almost play shortstop actually.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
All right. Looking at the system, he's got 1 guy in the top 500 and 11 top 500 prospects. They're all pretty far away except for James Smith, a left fielder, number 132 prospect, sitting in AAA. So not a lot of relief coming this year in terms of from the system, and kind of mid pack in terms of maybe even a below average system, you'd have to say, which makes sense. He's been trading away so many draft picks to bring in big talent that we're probably going to see his system kind of drain out over the next few years.
Yep.
Anybody left?
We got the last team in the league to talk about, and that is the New York Griffins.
The New York Griffins, yeah. And this is another new GM, Thane running the New York Griffins here. What do we think of this team? New York's been a kind of tortured franchise ever since Matt left. Matt won 2 championships in New York, and then he broke. He broke in 2012. Got bored, started playing college football. He may be back someday. But yeah, 2012, 2013, 2014 now. How many GMs have run this team? 4, 5? It's been quite. No, since Matt, I mean, there's been 4 or 5. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully Thane can stick and turn this thing around. Although well, he did export. That's good. He missed an export. I was kind of worried. Monday, you never know when someone just kind of fades, but he's in for tonight. Everybody's locked in, but Montreal and Lehigh. So, yeah, let's take a look at this team. What do we think of the Griffins? Do they have any hope? Yeah, I mean, Yasutake is great. Yeah, that'll turn around. I'm sure. He's he's got way too good of bars for that to keep up. He led the league on home runs last year. I think that guy will be fine. Steve Mace, not to be confused with Steve Moss, not a great catcher. And it looks like he's a rookie this year. I do love the name of his right fielder, Gil Jambakurian. Jambakurian? Nope, Kurian. It's a fun one. Francisco Ziarnik. There's some good names on here. Mike Minnie. Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, we're looking at good names on the team because that's basically the highlight. Yeah, yeah, this team's gonna be pretty bad. My advice to Thane, if same thing as all the other shit teams. Yasutake, try to get a gold, try to get a, excuse me, not a gold mine. Try to get a huge take for him. I mean, again, this Thane is like what I gave Vancouver shit for over the past few years. He's got $37 million sitting unspent right now, and you put 5 million in your scouting budget and 15 million in your development. If you're not going to spend your money, you might as well put it in your budgets so that you're developing your players and that you're scouting better. But he's just got money sitting out there unspent. So whether he tries to pick up some late free agents here to boost this team's profile and then trade them at the deadline, again, sign 1-year deals and try to trade these guys. That would be my advice. But do something with your money because in this league, it doesn't roll over. If you don't spend it, you lose it. And then your budget's probably going to go down next year because your owner is going to hate you. So. Well, there you go. Yeah, your fans won't show up, and then you won't
Yeah, sorry, I've
have a
been
very good
muted.
budget.
I've been muted for a while. But
No,
yeah,
have you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
Have I been talking to myself this whole ice conference? You've just been talking to me, Chris, and no one's heard you?
No, no, it's been for I had a sneeze. I muted it for the sneeze.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been talking to Chris. I'm not crazy, everybody. I'm not crazy. Um, Yasutake, I mean, the only problem with Yasutake, even though he's super talented, trading him might be hard. He's getting paid a shitload of money. Talking 35 million a year. So you're gonna have to retain a bunch of salary if anybody even bites on a first baseman getting paid. And then you've got a bunch of bad contracts. Like Ryan Thompson's getting paid for 3 years, and he's pretty subpar. He's getting 26 million a year. At least you have a team option on Fonseca, even though Fonseca's not terrible in terms of looking at his rotation here. I guess that's another guy highlighted on this team. Why? Where is Fonseca? Where's Fonseca? Oh, he's on the injured list, but he's not injured anymore. So hopefully that's been adjusted when New York exports tonight. Hopefully he's brought him back in the rotation. But Willie Fonseca's been pretty good in this league. Raul Salinas isn't terrible, so he's got 2 decent starters. So that's a bright spot. But yeah, I would be selling. I'd be selling these talented players at the deadline and trying to rebuild. New York needs it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's
Super.
I'm gonna say like it's yeah, tough situation because the team got neglected for a bit, so you're gonna be picking up from it. So
Yep. Yeah, our league has and has nots in New York. Griffins have 9 top 500 prospects, so they have a very them. They do have the number 23 prospect overall. He's in rookie ball right now, though, so who knows if he maintains that positive trajectory or falls off cliff. No one's really close, to be honest. So yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yes.
That's it. And guess what? The timer literally ran out 5 seconds ago. So we hit that shit on the dot. 45 minutes is perfect for a division with really. What are your rankings, or am I going first?
You're going first.
I guess I will take Washington.
Ah.
If you're going to pull my leg. And then I'll take Lehigh. I remember the one year, just a story, that I took Washington when they finished in like 6th. That was kind of funny. Yeah, Lehigh number 2. I will give Philly the growing benefit of the doubt. Say 3, and then I think Syracuse hasn't been terrible. I think they hang on and maybe get the 4 seed. They could flip with Philly though, 3 or 4, I think. Boston's really bad. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm gonna give Somerville number 4, Syracuse number 5. I think 3 or 5 could switch between Philly and Syracuse, but Somerville's definitely just getting 4th place. That's my call. Next we got Montreal. Man, it's tough after this. We gotta look at these teams again real quick. No, Montreal's terrible. So's Boston though. Boston's even more terrible. I'm gonna go New York. New York's gonna get 6th, and then I'm gonna go with Montreal. What are your thoughts?
Shitty. The only one I agree with is Washington in first place.
Okay, who's second?
Philly.
All right, Philly's number 2. Who's 3?
3 will be Lehigh.
Yeah. So I mean, we're just kind of flipped 2 and 3, so we're pretty close to the top 3.
I got number
and then the
4.
rest.
For number 4, I have Somerville.
Okay.
5.
You got Philly way too high.
Huh?
So you got Philly way too high.
Maybe I do, but
I think you're voting on prayers.
I am. I want to be right so bad. So Philly, you're going to be second. Syracuse 5.
Syracuse, yep.
6, 7, and 8 is going to be a toss-up between Montreal, Boston, and New York.
Is that your order?
Yeah.
You can't toss it up. So Montreal 6?
Yeah, Montreal 6. No. Boston 6, Montreal 7, New York 8. But any of those 3 can be a toss-up. Really?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think New York has more top-end talent. Yeah, man, it's tough. Yeah. All those teams are really bad. All right, let's do something a little different this year. Even though we've kind of set our playoff teams, who has no shot of making?
Who has no shot of making what? The playoffs?
The playoffs, yeah.
No shot. San Diego.
San Diego, no shot. Okay, we're checking San Diego. You can name all the teams you think. I agree with San Diego. I think Phoenix has no shot. I think. You know what? No, this is a bad exercise. Although there's just too many teams that have no shot in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go back to what we usually do. Who is winning the Fire Conference?
The Fire Conference. It's going to be... It's going to be Oklahoma City because they've been in there 2 years in a row, I think, in the conference championship.
Have they?
I think so. Or no,
they haven't. Milwaukee Bighorn last year.
But they've been deep in the playoffs, and it's going to be Oklahoma City versus Oahu.
Okay.
And I think Oahu's going to lose to Oklahoma City.
I'm just excited to be there. I'm not going to pick myself because that's a fucking jinx.
Well, you say pick yourself to win the division.
I'll pick the Sasquatches to face. I'll give Huron. Very unconfident about those two picks. And then I will pick on the other side. I'll pick first. I'll pick Washington, and
Washington.
I think it'll be Washington and the matchup everybody wants: Washington and Denver.
I was gonna pick the same thing, but I'm gonna go different. I was gonna go different than you. I'm gonna go Washington against New Orleans again. Back
All right.
and
I almost picked that, to be honest, even though I had New Orleans second in the division. But all right, and who's your TBL champion in 2000?
Washington.
The obvious pick. I'm gonna go with the surprise pick. I'm gonna pick Huron to win the championship. Huron is about to have a 2-10 sim. I can. All right, Chris. It's been fun as usual. Hopefully, people enjoy listening to us ramble. And yeah, good luck in tonight's sim.
Hey, good luck
30
tonight.
minutes to get your export in, Chris.
Yeah, I'll get it out. I was preoccupied, I think.
Yeah, don't worry, I haven't exported either.
All right, catch you later,
All right.
folks.
Later.